has just been sentenced to 12 years in prison, and it says he could be deported after he has finished his sentence. It says could be. The judge says it's down to the authorities whether or not they deport him. Now, this asylum seeker from Syria has been found guilty of the rape of a 12-year-old girl, a defenseless 12-year-old girl who had run away from home, and she went on the streets of Birmingham and came across this despicable man who done the dirtiest and the baddest of deeds to someone who was in need, someone who was vulnerable. And this despicable man, who is Mohammed Wahid Mohammed, who was 22 and lived in Walsall, told the victim it was not safe on the streets and gave her a vape and crisps before raping her. But the headlines of this one is asylum seeker who raped a 12-year-old in Birmingham after offering vape and crisps could be deported. Now, he took this to trial, put that poor, defenseless young girl through all of this heartache and torture again. And it says, like I've just said, I'll reiterate, could be deported. Shouldn't be, it could. People like this that come into the country and do acts like this should have the biggest sentence possible, then deported immediately. No letting them stay here, giving them asylum, letting them live freely when they've done that. They come into the country looking for a better life, or that's what it should be. But yet they come in and they do the most despicable deeds to the most vulnerable of society. Now, I tried to look into a little bit more about his background to see when exactly he arrived in the UK, but I can't find a great deal on this. There is only 2 articles online. One of them is The Telegraph, which you have to sign up and pay a subscription to read it, so you couldn't really read much. But you read the first little bit, which is the same as this article, which I am going to read out to you now. And those are the only 2. But I do have ChatGPT on my computer here, so when I highlighted the name to do a web search, ChatGPT done the web search for us. A few different articles came up, but then obviously ChatGPT read what was in the article, then it came up error. You couldn't read a thing. So, an asylum seeker from Syria who raped a 12-year-old girl after offering her vape and crisps while he worked illegally at a supermarket in Birmingham could face deportation under a change in law. Mohammed, who was 22 and who lived in Walsall, told the victim, ironically, it was not safe on the streets. It happened on the 24th of September last year at Villa Supermarket in Handsworth. The girl who had left her home earlier that day ended up in Birmingham city centre around 8:30 p.m. that night. Andrew Wallace, who was prosecuting, told the court the victim had been helping a homeless woman despite having only a few pounds in her pocket. So this kind-hearted young lass had a few pounds in her pocket, seen a homeless woman and decided to give her help, because that's what you do when you see people in need. If you have a good heart, you offer them help. He said she bought the lady a cup of tea. The homeless lady then walked her down Villa Road to Villa Supermarket. As soon as the defendant saw her, he said, you look really young, you look really cold, do you want to come into the shop and get warm? I'll get you something to eat and drink and make sure that you are safe. Well, that was far from the truth. As soon as he seen that young girl, he knew in his mind what he was going to do to that poor defenseless lass. He continued, he knew she was far away from home. There was a discussion about that. Ironically, he told her it wasn't safe on the streets. He coaxed her into the shop under the pretense of being concerned. Really, like I just said, he had only one thing in mind: Birmingham Crown Court heard Mohammed promised the girl some food and told her to take a vape, crisps and fizzy drink from the shelves. He then said he was going to get a new drink from a storeroom out of the back, but he took her to an upstairs bedroom where he had been sleeping and attacked her in the most despicable way. What an absolute horrible piece of work. I cannot say exactly what I think about these type of offenders on here because I've got to be professional, otherwise the video will not be shown, and that's obviously not what we want. We want to get the message out about these type of offenders who are ending up in prison, and hopefully they will get a bit of prison justice, because sometimes prison justice is the only justice that is fitting for these type of offenders. Mohammed was sentenced to 12 years in prison after admitting 2 counts of essay under a girl of 13 and being found guilty of 3 counts of rape by a jury. And like I said earlier on, that despicable piece of bleep, put that poor little lass through the ordeal of having to relive it in front of jury members, in front of a crowded court, in front of the judges. It must have been a harrowing experience for her. Obviously, I've been inside of a courtroom myself on the other end of it, and I know how harrowing it can be. So for a young girl of that age having to relive this ordeal to make sure that this predator gets convicted, that's what she done. So hats off to that brave little girl. You are one strong little character going through that ordeal and then having to relive it in front of the jury members. So Judge Roderick Henderson also imposed an extended 5-year license after ruling Mohammed was a dangerous offender. He added it would be the authorities to determine the issue of deportation at a later stage. The Home Office said they are changing the law so that individuals convicted of a registered S offence are stopped from being granted asylum and are deported. It should be happening anyway. It's only common sense. Why leave a dangerous predator, a dangerous person in this country when you know what they're capable of? It's happening far too often, and they're doing it exactly as soon as they get out, they're doing it again. Individuals convicted of a registered S offence are prevented from being granted asylum. And this is what the spokesperson of the Home Office has went on to say. Illegal working undermines honest employers and undercuts local wages. It's against the law to work in the UK when you have no right to be here. Since coming into power a year ago, we have doubled enforcement action nationwide with visits and arrests, including to businesses like small supermarkets and corner shops, up by over 50%. We are also changing the law so that individuals convicted of a registered S offence are prevented from being granted asylum, and will do everything in our power to pursue deportation from the UK so that these vile criminals are off our streets and paying the price for their crimes. Now, it's all good and well coming on and releasing statements after these horrendous offences have already happened, and they're saying they will do everything in their power to stop these vile, dangerous criminals. Well, there is one solution to stop these boats coming over with these vile, dangerous criminals on, who are here to just take everything they can and take everything from the most vulnerable in society. And when I say everything, doing that to a young girl, 12-year-old, that is taking everything from her. That is destroying her life. She will never get over the ordeal of that horrible predator being on top of her and her being helpless when it should never have happened in the first place. A lot of these individuals coming over on these boats illegally are coming over unvetted, coming over and no one knows their background. Yes, asylum seekers that come here looking to be housed, women and children fleeing war-torn countries. That is the British standards, to look after women and kids. But where are the women and kids? It's not the women and kids it's male individuals coming in with a sick ideology where they want to disrupt the lives of the most vulnerable and take whatever they can. And when I say take whatever they can, taking the most precious thing to women and kids, exactly what this horrible individual has done. But like I say, I'm bringing these type of contents. It's all about prison topics on here, prison content, and I'm bringing these type of topics, these type of individuals who are ending up in the prison system for taking from the most vulnerable in society. And like I said as well, there's only 2 articles I could find online. There's nothing in the mainstream media. So you will hear these type of stories on this channel. So keep watching, people. And if you are enjoying this content, remember to comment, like, and subscribe. I will leave that one there for now. So hopefully you do enjoy your week ahead or enjoy your weekend. Stay safe and watch what you're doing, people. And keep tuned for more upcoming videos.